Welcome to CFP Exam Prep. Today, we're diving into a crucial topic that often appears on the exam: understanding learning styles and how to adapt financial advice delivery to match client preferences. Many candidates overlook this fundamental concept, but it's essential for effective client communication and relationship building. Let's break down the three main learning styles. Visual learners process information best through charts, graphs, and written materials. Auditory learners prefer verbal explanations and discussions. Kinesthetic learners understand concepts better through hands-on experiences and interactive activities. A common mistake test takers make is assuming all clients fit neatly into one category. In reality, most people use a combination of learning styles, with one being dominant. The exam often includes scenario-based questions, where you need to identify the client's preferred learning style and recommend appropriate communication strategies. Here's a practical example that frequently appears on the exam. A client consistently asks for visual aids during meetings and takes detailed notes. When presenting investment options, they respond better to charts comparing historical returns rather than verbal explanations. This clearly indicates a visual learning preference. The correct approach would be to prepare graphical representations of financial concepts and provide written summaries of recommendations. Another scenario might involve a client who frequently interrupts with questions and prefers to talk through scenarios. This suggests an auditory learning style. The appropriate response would be to engage in detailed discussions and use verbal analogies to explain complex financial concepts. For kinesthetic learners, the exam might present a case where a client struggles to understand asset allocation until they physically sort investment cards into different categories. These clients benefit from interactive financial planning tools and hands-on budget exercises. A critical concept that test writers love to include is the adaptation of standard financial planning materials to different learning styles. For instance, explaining dollar cost averaging to a visual learner would involve showing a graph of purchase points over time. For an auditory learner, you might use a storytelling approach. For a kinesthetic learner, you could use a simulation or interactive calculator. Test takers often fall into the trap of recommending the same communication approach for all clients. The exam specifically tests your ability to recognize learning style indicators in client behavior and adjust your communication strategy accordingly. Pay attention to keywords and question stems that hint at learning preferences. Remember that matching communication style to learning preference significantly impacts client comprehension and engagement. This isn't just about passing the exam. It's about developing real-world skills for effective financial planning practice. The exam may also test your understanding of how learning styles affect the implementation of financial recommendations. A visual learner might need a detailed written action plan. An auditory learner might benefit from recorded meeting summaries. A kinesthetic learner might prefer a step-by-step checklist they can actively work through. Understanding learning styles is fundamental to client communication and relationship management. When studying this topic, focus on recognizing behavioral cues that indicate learning preferences and knowing how to adapt your communication approach accordingly. This knowledge will serve you well both on the exam and in your future practice as a financial planner.